Good morning. How's everybody doing? Hopefully, we all can have some peace this morning. So, should we say Assalamu alaikum? May you have peace, right? I woke up this morning peaceful, but as soon as I turned on my phone, I was greeted with antagonisms. I blocked a relative for talking bad about me and my dogs. My younger brother wants to say, if that's how you treat family, then that's on you. I don't know what he said. And then I replied back, I apologize for being abused by ignorant offenders. May you both earn rewards towards heaven. Um, how do you tell a family that I don't want to talk to you anymore because you're verbally abusive towards me? And this is a younger brother. So basically, he doesn't have respect for me. By the way, I'm bigger than him and all that kind of stuff. I'm smarter than him. I have a PhD. He only has a bachelor degree. Uh, he never joined the military. He's had the same girlfriend, wife since college 30 years ago. Has barely been out of the country. He doesn't have a lot of life experience. He drinks a lot of alcohol. Uh, I just had to, how do you say, what do Christians say? There's a song from, there's a song from, there's a reggae song that says something like, forgive them, Jah, for they don't know, or something like that. Forgive them for what they don't know. And yeah, um, so I didn't wake up with peace, and then I had to deal with that. But let me also explain something. When somebody sends you a bad message, regardless of who the person is, so you get on your phone, right, and you answer, you reply like tick, 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 reply a lot, and you think, let me not say it like that. So you delete everything again, and then you try to write it again. Write something different. Tick, 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 tick. So you write something different. You're like, nah, because even though this is what I should say, it allows for a response back, or someone wants to nitpick the language. It's like, okay, I don't want to be abused by you because you do this, because you've done this. That opens up an avenue for them to say, well, you did that in the past. And then you had to reply back, but I'm not the same person I was in the past. But to the haters or to the antagonists, you're still that same person. So a little brother is always going to think that this is his big mean big brother, big asshole big brother who hasn't spoken to the big brother in 30 years because they didn't ever wanted to join social media when it mattered in life when I was going through all of these transitions, getting my higher education, being a Buddhist monk, being a scholar, studying Islam and things like this. These people were not along with me along my journey in life. Now all of a sudden they want to jump on like, why you have these dogs? You know, why do I have these XL American bullies? You know, why? Oh, you raising pit bulls. There's too many pit bulls in the world. Pit bulls only belong to black people and gangsters. What? What? I only get dogs from the shelter. How dare you be a breeder? What? Where do you think dogs come from? Where you think some dogs come from? You know, I try to do responsible things, and all I get is these antagonisms back. So that's how I woke up this morning. Uh, was not inspired to after that. I was not inspired to cook my son a great breakfast. I made him a decent breakfast. It just happened to be a scrambled egg and cheese, and that's it. Breakfast burrito. So tortilla. Told him to put his own hot sauce on there because I'm a little bit upset that my little brother, 2 years younger. You see, we're old, right? I'm like almost 50. He's a couple years younger than me. And he still wants to talk like he's 16 to my 18. Like, sorry, man. My life has moved far beyond that circumstance. And I'm just tired of dealing with it. You know, like our father died. My biological father died. We had the same biological mother, but he took both of us after they divorced. Uh, she was 16 when I was born, and she was about 18 when he was born. So my dad joined the military and raised us alone until we had a stepmom, and then they divorced later when we were like 17 or something. When I was like 17, maybe 15 for him. So yeah, we were raised by a father, and then anyway, he dies a couple years ago, and I was in Thailand. You know, I can't come to America to manage the estate as the oldest son. So the court or a lawyer sent like a document to me saying, "Can he manage the estate?" I was like, "Well, there's really no choice, right?" So I signed it. He managed the estate. He did good. I get back to America, and all of a sudden, I have to do taxes for America because in Thailand, I was paying taxes to the Thai government because I had a government job. You know, I had a work permit, you know, visa, work permit. Uh, you know, work at a university. You know, as a professor, you follow the laws. So I was paying Thailand taxes, Social Security, and stuff like that. I get to America, and I haven't paid taxes since I was in the military, and that is just like that easy form. You know, it's like blue, green, whatever form, and it's really easy to fill out. It's like one side, maybe a second side. You know, you sign it, send it in, done. But now I have a house, a farm expenses. My business is dog breeding. The farm failed last year because we had a late frost and extended drought, and so I lost like thousands of a couple, almost $2,000 worth of seed crops of seeds that were supposed to develop into crops. So I spent almost $2,000 on seeds. All of that was gone. Nothing grew except for one pumpkin plant, maybe three okra plants, two things of corn that later found out got stomped down by some deer, and just everything failed. So yeah. Anyway, I needed help on taxes because I had, so he invited me to. I mean, I invited him. I was like, he kind of correctly assumed that I needed help on my taxes, and he's an accountant. So I was like, yeah, sure, definitely come over. Because I can't do this without you. I don't. I had no idea. I would just be frustrated. But I'm probably gonna have to do the taxes alone this year, and so that's fine. I might go to some office or something just to talk to a human, but um, and don't they take like some of the money away? So yeah, I mean, I could do it myself, I guess, but I'll just do it with somebody. Um, and then I got a letter in the mail yesterday from the Department of Forestry asking me how do I manage my forest that I have on my 15 acres, and I was like, uh, I manage it by doing nothing. So what does that mean? So by doing nothing, I'm doing something. Um, um, so I'm doing nothing, but I mean, I'm doing something by doing nothing. And so what does that mean? Around here are wild turkeys, deer, possums, maybe raccoon. I haven't personally seen them on my property, but I know they're here somewhere because you see roadkill somewhere. And on the other hill, like we've seen dead armadillos, and we've seen a bobcat on two occasions. There's vultures, crows, cardinals, other kinds of birds, woodpeckers, because we could hear them, on occasions. So by doing nothing, I'm doing something. So that's like forest preservation, right? So like, of course, I'm preserving the forest, and I'm even developing the forest by planting an orchard. So yeah, um, it's nice how the government always wants to like mingle in your life, because then are they like trying to build a case against all of every citizen? I'm not making like conspiracy theorist talk, but like by developing an orchard, does that like raise the property value or something? And so when they come around for property tax for next year or something, do they raise the property value? So it's like, what do you have to do to pay like less taxes or something? Like I don't know. Like it's like I just want to die to not deal with the government. Like why? Like why? Like I don't understand. I, I'm living 1,000 years, 500 years too late. I should have been born 500 years ago, and then probably would never have lived to this age. So because life was a lot harder back then. So yeah. Okay. So with that as the backdrop of today's lesson, I don't want to say today's lesson because today's not over. It's still eight something, nine, almost 9:15 in the morning. Yesterday's video, while I was doing Surah 6, I believe, my son came home and he had a box. And inside the box was a new Qur'an. Yay! And this one actually comes from Saudi Arabia. Yay! Whereas this one comes from Egypt. Uh, comes from Egypt and printed in Turkey. So Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Egypt kind of have a different way of understanding Islam. Whereas I prefer this translation in my personal life. When I was reading Surah 7 last night on the live video, I confirmed, because here I'm intellectually honest, like all the time. I confirmed with myself that this one is better to speak with, to, towards, on, for the simple fact that it has headings, like paragraph headings, subtitles for a heading, and that helps when you're wanting to discuss certain it gives you a context clue of what that paragraph is going to be about. And so when you're reading that paragraph, you're like, you see the subtitle, like, oh, maybe this isn't what I want to talk about. Maybe this is something that is not interesting for me. And because Surah 2 really beat down hard on me because it is so long, so many pages, where and Surah 3 was a little bit long. I just kind of had to like speed read, so I was like mumbling in front of the camera. So I did it as brother, and it's like, okay, that's not important. I don't feel I need to address that to the audience, to the camera. Um, but then I'm thinking, like, oh, does that take away from the message or something like that? Hold on, let me open my window a little bit. I don't need to open that a little bit. All right. It's a beautiful cloudy day outside, and just kind of wish a little bit of more light would come in. So the Surah 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 pages. It's not too long. Uh, what I prefer about this version, the hardback version, the Saudi Arabia version over the Egyptian paperback version, is here when you talk about Allah, it uses the word Allah. When it talks about Isa, it doesn't use the word Jesus. When it says Musa, it doesn't use the word Moses. When it says Jabril, it doesn't use the word Gabriel. I want to read not context clue vocabulary, but a lot of that is actually kind of beneficial. Uh, whereas this one completely translates every term into English. So it's easier to read. It's easier for maybe the audience to understand. But also, I remember a story that I told from yesterday by saying when I was in Thailand for 20 years, um, in the newspaper, I read that there was a story from like, I forgot where, Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei. I forgot where the story comes from, but it's basically like there was a Bible that was printed, and instead of saying God and Jesus and whoever, it translated those terms into Arabic. So it would say Issa is the son of Allah or something like that. And the government kind of made that text illegal, or it was determined to be like blasphemy, or you see what I mean? Like it was a Bible meant to attempt to convert Muslims into Christians. So I would imagine this book, by taking away the Arabic terminology, is meant for non Muslims to learn to accept Islam. Whereas this one is probably for Muslims who may not speak Arabic. Does that make sense? So I don't know who my audience is, because currently, even though this is my eighth video in this series, zero viewers, because I'm doing it live. And my subscribers that I do have are my former students of Buddhist studies. And since this is on Islam, probably zero of them are interested in this topic. Rightfully so. I comprehend the dearth of viewers. All right. So this is 5 pages. I think I can get through this in not a lot of time, in a short time. And then I do endeavor to get through the entire Quran in the next couple days. So I also want to document that I've gone through all the Quran and tried to discuss nearly everything. And then also to remind any kind of viewer, um, I am a man of science. Islam used to be very pro science in the early years and the formations of all the great, you know, masjids, madrasas, whatever I'm trying to say. Hold on. I'm just going through some of these Facebook messages that keep popping up uh, because some people, because I have a business too. So um, it's about the farm. They say it's a threat or opportunity. It's asking for assistance with knowledge to help run the farm better. So yeah. If I don't think I'm going to make, what is it, 117 or 114? I don't think I'm going to make 100 and 100 and 114 videos, because some of them are like really super short. So for some of those, I just might combine a lot of surahs into one video. But um, mm, let me just begin. Like I said, I've read the Quran many times, all the way through, but it's been more than, for sure, it's been more than 3 years since I read it all the way through. So just the occasional verse is unfamiliar to me, and I want to. If there's something that I need to describe as a man of science, as a doctor of Buddhism, as a scholar of religious studies, if there's something I feel like I need to discuss, then I'll take a time out. I'll look it up on Google, and we could talk about it because being intellectually honest is important. Um, and that can eliminate the barriers to faith. Even though I believe faith, Iman, faith is akin or a subdivision under the term ignorance, because you don't know if something is as it is. So you have faith that it may be, you have faith that it is. So you're still ignorant. You still don't know, but you just have faith that it is. So I don't ever want to have ignorance because ignorance is a defilement. Ignorance is what we all try to eliminate. So, all right, here we go. Surah 8 is entitled The Spoils of War, Al Anfal. I guess it's all right. And it goes, they ask you, O Prophet, regarding the spoils of war, saying their distribution is decided by God and his messengers. So be mindful of God, settle your affairs, and obey God and his messenger if you are a true believer. If you are true believers. Let me cross reference and see how this one starts out. I'm not going to keep cross referencing. I just have a question about this term, their regarding the spoils of war, their distribution. I guess the distribution is referring to the booty or treasure or whatever. But I just want to see how this alternatively expresses it. It says, they ask you, O Muhammad, about the spoils of war. Say the spoils are for Allah and the messengers, so fear Allah and adjust all matters of difference among you and obey Allah and his messenger, if you are believers. Their distribution is decided by God. The spoils are for, by, and for completely different implications. Hmm. So I don't know the implication of that, but we can ascertain the spoils of war are for the victor, and that victory may have been provided. Coffee. That victory may have been provided by Allah. The true believers are only those whose hearts tremble at the remembrance of God, whose faith increases when his revelations are recited to them, and who put their trust in their Lord. They are those who establish prayer and donate from what we have provided for them. It's they who are true believers. They will have elevated ranks, forgiveness, and honorable provisions from their Lord. Similarly, when your Lord brought you, O Prophet, out of your home for a just cause, a group of believers was totally against it. They disputed with you about the truth after it had been made clear, as if they were being driven to death with their eyes wide open. Remember, O believers, when God promised to give you the upper hand, over either target. You wish to capture the unarmed party, but it was God's will to establish the truth by his words and uproot the disbelievers, to firmly establish the truth and wipe out falsehood, even to the dismay of the wicked. Just reading a footnote that said, after many years of persecution in Mecca, the Prophet and many of his early followers decided to immigrate secretly to Medina, about 250 miles north, leaving behind their homes and valuables, which were soon taken over by pagans in Mecca. To avenge the financial loss, the Prophet decided to capture an unarmed Mecca trade caravan, but the caravan escaped, and the Meccans mobilized an army of over 1,000, 3 times the size of the Muslim force. Many Muslims hoped to capture the caravan without having to meet the army in battle. Although the Muslims were outnumbered, they still won the decisive battle. So remember, when you cried out to your Lord for help, he answered, I will reinforce you with 1,000 angels, followed by many others, 5,000 angels in total, as mentioned in uh, Surah 3, 125. Let me see. Most certainly, if you believers are firm and mindful of God and an enemy launches a sudden attack on you, God will reinforce you with 5,000 angels designated for battle. God ordained this enforcement only as a good news for you and reassurance for your hearts. And victory comes only from God, the Almighty, All Wise, to destroy a group of the disbelievers and humble the rest, causing them to withdraw in disappointment. And God made a sign of his victory and reassurance with your hearts. Victory comes only from God. Surely God is almighty and wise. 11, ayat 11. Remember when he caused drowsiness to overcome you, giving you serenity? He sent down rain from the sky to purify you, free from Satan's whispers, strengthen your hearts, and make your steps firm. Remember, O prophet, when your Lord revealed to the angels, I am with you, so make believers stand firm. I will cast horror into the hearts of the disbelievers, so strike their necks and strike their fingertips. This is because they defy God and his messenger, and whoever defies God and his messenger then knows that God is surely severe in punishment. That worldly punishment is yours, so taste it. Then the disbelievers will suffer the torment of fire. O believers, when you face the disbelievers in battle, never turn your back to them, and whoever does so on such occasion, unless there's a maneuver or join their own troops, will earn the displeasures of God, and their home will be hell. What an evil destination. I'm going to skip over verses like that because it's not really relevant right now, um, because it's specifically addressing an ancient historical circumstance. Verse 26, ayat 26. Remember when you had been vastly outnumbered and oppressed in the land, constantly in fear of attacks by your enemy. He sheltered you, strengthened you with his help, and provided you with good things, so perhaps you would be thankful. '27. O believers, do not betray God and the messenger, nor betray your trusts knowingly. And know that your wealth and your children are only a test, and that with God is a great reward. O believers, if you are mindful of God, he will grant you decisive authority, absolve you of your sins and forgive you, and God is the Lord of infinite bounty. And remember, O prophet, when the disbelievers conspired to kill or exile you, they planned, but God also planned, and God is the best of planners. Whenever our revelations, this is what for ayat 31, whenever our revelations are recited to them, they challenge you. We have already heard the recitation. If we wanted, we could have easily produced something similar. This Qur'an is nothing but ancient fables. This is sarcasm. Ayat 49. Remember when the hypocrites and those with sickness in their hearts said those believers are deluded by their faith, but whoever puts their trust in God, surely God is almighty, all wise. If only you could see when the angels take the souls of the disbelievers, beating their faces and backs, saying, taste the torment of burning. This is the reward for what your hands have done, and God is never unjust to his creation. Their fate is that of the people of the Pharaoh that and those before them, they that disbelieve in God's signs, so God sees them for their sins. Indeed, God is all powerful, severe in punishment. This is because God would never discontinue his favor to a people until they discontinue their faith. Surely God is all hearing and all knowing. That was the case with Pharaoh's people and those before him. They all rejected the signs of their Lord, so we destroyed them for their sins and drowned Pharaoh's people. They were all wrongdoers. Ayat 59. Do not let the disbelievers think that they are not within reach. They will have no escape. Prepare against them what you believers can of military power and cavalry to detour God's enemies and your enemies as well as other enemies unknown to you but known to God. Whatever you spend in the cause of God will be paid to you in full and you will not be wronged. If the enemy is inclined toward peace, make peace with them and put your trust in God. Indeed, he alone is the all hearing, all knowing. But if your intention is but if their intention is only to deceive you, then God is certainly sufficient for you. He is the one who has supported you with his help and with the believers. He brought their hearts together. Had you spent all the riches in the earth, you could have not united their hearts. But God has united them. Indeed, he is the Almighty, all wise. O prophet, God is sufficient for you and for the believers who follow you. O prophet, motivate the believers to fight. If there are 20 steadfast among you, they will overcome 200. If there is 100 of you, they will overcome 1,000 of the disbelievers, for they are a people who do not comprehend. Now God has lightened your burden for you. Now God has lightened your burden, for he knows that there is weakness in you. If there are 100 steadfast among you, they will overcome 200. And if there be 1,000, they will be overcome by 2,000. By God's will, and God is with the steadfast. Ayat 67. Is not fit for a prophet that he should take captives until he has thoroughly subdued the land. You believers settled with the fleeting gains of this world, while God's aim for you is the hereafter. God is almighty and all wise. Had it not been for the prior decree from God, you would have certainly been disciplined with a tremendous punishment for whatever ransom you have taken. Now enjoy what you have taken, for it is lawful and good, and be mindful of God. Surely God is all forgiving, most merciful. O prophet, tell the captives in your custody, if God finds goodness in your hearts, he will give you better than what has been taken from you and forgive you, for God is all forgiving, most merciful. But if their intention is only to betray you, O prophet, they sought to betray God before, but he gave you power over them. God is all knowing, all wise. Those who believed, immigrated, and strived in their wealth and and lives in the cause of God, as well as those who gave them shelter and help, they are truly the guardians of one another. As for those who believe but did not immigrate, you have no obligation to them until they immigrate. If they seek your help against persecution and faith, it is your obligation to help them, except against people bound with you in a treaty. God is all seeing of what you do. The last ayat is 75. Uh, so just so I can conclude, and those who later believed, migrated, and struggled alongside of you, they are also with you. But only blood relatives are now entitled to inherit from one another as ordained by God. Surely God has full knowledge of everything. So that is Surah 8. Surah 9 is longer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pages, and this was like only 5. So I should take a little break and make a new video. So may you have peace. Thanks for listening, and each one teach one and do better. So bye.